The Veldt by Ray Bradbury. Part 4. The two children were in hysterics. They screamed and pranced and threw things. They yelled and sobbed and swore and jumped on the furniture. "You can't do that to the nursery! You can't!" "Now, children!" The children flung themselves onto a couch, weeping. "George," said Lydia Hadley, "turn on the nursery just for a few moments. You can't be so abrupt." "No." "You can't be so cruel." "Lydia, it's off, and it stays off, and the whole damn house dies as of here and now. The more I see of the mess we've put ourselves in, the more it sickens me. We've been contemplating our mechanical electronic lives for too long. My God, how we need a breath of honest air." And he marched about the house, turning off the voice clocks, the stoves, the heaters, the shoe shiners, the shoelacers, the body scrubbers and massagers, and every other machine he could put his hand to. The house was full of dead bodies, it seemed. It felt like a mechanical cemetery, so silent, none of the humming hidden energy of machines waiting to function at the tap of a button. "Don't let them do it!" wailed Peter at the ceiling as if he was talking to the house, the nursery. "Don't let father kill everything!" He turned to his father. "Oh, I hate you!" "Insults won't get you anywhere." "I wish you were dead." "We were for a long while. Now we are going to really start living. Instead of being handled and massaged, we are going to live." Wendy was still crying, and Peter joined her again. "Just a moment, just a moment. Just another moment of nursery," they wailed. "Oh, George," said the wife, "it can't hurt." All right. If they'll just shut up. 1 minute, mind you, and then off forever." "Daddy, Daddy, Daddy," sang the children, smiling with wet faces. "And then we're going on a vacation. David McLean is coming back in half an hour to help us move out and get to the airport. I'm going to dress. You turn the nursery on for a minute, Lydia. Just a minute, mind you." And the three of them went babbling off while he let himself be vacuumed upstairs through the air flue and set about dressing himself. A minute later, Lydia appeared. "I'll be glad when we get away," she sighed. "Did you leave them in the nursery?" "I wanted to dress too." "Oh, that horrid Africa! What can they see in it?" "Well, in 5 minutes we'll be on our way to Iowa. Lord, how did we ever get in this house? What prompted us to buy a nightmare?" "Pride. Money. Foolishness. I think we'd better get downstairs before those kids get engrossed with those damned beasts again." Just then they heard the children calling, "Daddy, Mommy, come, quick, quick." They went downstairs in the air flue and ran down the hall. The children were nowhere in sight. "Wendy, Peter!" They ran into the nursery. The Veldt was empty, except for the lions waiting, looking at them. "Peter? Wendy?" The door slammed. "Wendy! Peter!" George Hadley and his wife whirled and ran back to the door. "Open the door!" cried George Hadley, trying the knob. "Why, they've locked it from the outside." "Peter!" He beat at the door. "Open up!" He heard Peter's voice outside against the door. "Don't let them switch off the nursery and the house," he was saying. Mr. and Mrs. George Hadley beat at the door. "Now don't be ridiculous, children. It's time to go. Mr. McLean will be here in a minute. And then they heard the sounds. The lions were on 3 sides of them in the yellow Veldt grass, padding through the dry straw, rumbling and roaring in their throats. The lions! Mr. Hadley looked at his wife, and they turned and looked back at the beasts, edging slowly forward, crouching, tails stiff. Mr. and Mrs. Hadley screamed, and suddenly they realized why those other screams had sounded familiar. "Well, here I am," said David McLean in the nursery doorway. "Oh, hello!" He stared at the two children seated in the center of the open glade eating a little picnic lunch. Beyond them was the water hole and the yellow Veldt, and above was the hot sun. He began to perspire. "Where are your father and mother?" The children looked up and smiled. "Oh, they'll be here soon." "Good. We must get going." At a distance, Mr. McLean saw the lion fighting and clawing and then quieting down to feed in silence under the shady trees. He squinted at the lions with his hand to his eyes. Now the lions were done feeding. They moved to the water hole to drink. A shadow flickered over Mr. McLean's hot face. Many shadows flickered. The vultures were dropping down in the blazing sky. "A cup of tea?" asked Wendy in the silence.